Hello everybody, my name is Rilie Kaye. I read, I write, and I drink a lot of coffee. Today I am bringing you a book review of the book Winterwood by Shae Earnshaw. Okay, so let me preface, I'm not here to author or writer shame, that is not what I'm about. But I do want to give a proper review, so how I'm going to conduct this review is 1. I will give a little bit of background information on the writer, which is Shae Earnshaw. 2. I will give a small synopsis of the book and read the back. 3. I will give the book a 1 through 5 star rating in 3 separate categories. Those categories: writing style, plot engagement, and overall rating. My biggest goal with this series is to get people to start talking about books again. There's this really dark part in the writing community about doing book reviews, because if you are bashing on writers and then implementing your own work out into society, then there can be a lot of backlash that can go upon you for such a practice. Now, I understand that fear, but I do believe as a writer it is so incredibly important to continuously be reading things. And as a reader, I believe that when you do have books that you absolutely enjoy and books that you really want to talk about, then you should be able to talk about them with like-minded people without having to fear, being called out or so on and so forth. I think it's healthy to have common conversation, so that is. Alright, so first a little bit about the author. I published one book before this one. It is called In the Wicked Deep, and that one was actually really good as well. I really did enjoy that one too. And this one is set in that same universe, which I kind of thought was really cool. Now we're going to go into the description of the novel. So this one, how I would really describe the genre of it is just like a contemporary novel with a little bit of a spooky element to it. I don't know the exact genre that it's placed under, probably romance and contemporary. This book says, "The Walker women of Fir Haven have always lived in the woods. Some say the first Walker woman came to the forest, her bones built of roots and thorns, and she sprouted up from the ground. This is where their legacy began, a strange and mythical legacy rooted in rumors and folklore. Over the years, there have been many tales of the Walker women. Most have been lost, stories forgotten, fables and myths washed away with the spring rains. This story is one such tale. It was once scattered like autumn leaves buried in the soil, stitched there until it arose, until something stirred it loose, until the forest shuddered and opened its eyes." A good look into what her writing style is very specifically, but what the actual book is about is a teenager named Nora. She lives in this house next to this lake, and across from this lake is this camp for wayward boys, and something happened, and she goes into these woods that she's only allowed to go into during the full moon because, in her words, the woods awake. And so she is taking her monthly stroll into the... Hi, baby. Give it to you. She's taking her monthly stroll into these woods, and she finds a boy there. You hear him in the background. He's trying to get his sister to play with him now. She finds a boy there, and a little bit later on she ends up finding out that a boy at the camp that is across the lake from her has died. And so the whole book is just about her trying to figure out what happened and trying to figure out what's going on within her own self. And the first rating that I gave this book was in writing style, and I gave it a 4.5. Let me explain. This book is ridiculously poetic, and it is so beautifully atmospheric, and I absolutely loved it. Truly I did. I thought that it was so transportive, and I felt like wherever she said that I was in the book, I was there. She had little snippets of when you were back in the summertime, and I felt like I was in the sun, and then when she talked about the storms, I felt like I needed another blanket. I absolutely loved it. But she does switch back and forth between the two perspectives of Nora and Oliver. And if I'm 100% honest with you, there was no real differentiation between writing styles between the male and female perspective. and it was just kind of jaunting to like feel like I was listening to the same voice all the way across the board. But outside of that, I really did love I loved the language that she used. In the second category is plot engagement. Now, I did give this a 3 in this category, and that only is because of the length. I feel like she could have made the story significantly longer and then kind of furthered the plot and deepened it a little bit more. Outside of that, I thought the plot was fantastic. I did go onto GoodReads and read a bunch of reviews from there, and I wanted to go on a little bit of a tangent about this specifically, is all of the reviews that I saw were saying that they had guessed the end of the book, or they guessed the plot twist at the end, which is why they gave it a lower rating. Coming from a writer's perspective, it is not a writer or author's job to give you whiplash or to surprise you, let down. And I think that you're giving yourself significantly too high expectations. So I kind of discounted all of those reviews right off the bat, just because. And the thing is after reading the book, you can tell that Shay Earnshaw she wasn't hiding the end of the book. She had hinted towards it the entire time. I was explaining the plot of the book to my husband. I hadn't even finished the synopsis of the book and he had guessed the ending. And that was absolutely okay. He goes, "Oh, that's so cool. It sounds like a really cool plot." I was like, "Yeah, it absolutely was." And it's because she wasn't trying to hide the ending of the book. It was just that you got to see the whole picture at the end, which I thought was really cool. Okay, and my overall rating for this book is I gave it 4 stars. Given the 3 stars and the 4.5, this was such an easy and fun read. I finished it in one setting. It's really not that big, and it was just lighthearted, and I really enjoyed it. I would definitely recommend it if you want to be transported for a couple of hours whenever you're feeling stressed. Alright, so that is all I have for you guys today. If this is something that you want to see more of, if you want to see more of the reviews of the books I have, then let me know and I can see what I can do about making that happen. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day.